Hey friends, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Real Advice podcast. I am so excited for this week's guest, who is honestly one of my favorite people. I had known her for a while via social media, and it was one of those things that I just knew her. I was like, okay, yeah, she's cool. I like her. She's awesome. But had never met her in person. And I met her about month and a half ago, and she is just as cool in person as she looks online. Always kind of scary if that's going to work out or not, but she is super well known in the real estate industry for her top-notch marketing and social media marketing and video, and she trains agents. She's I don't want to say master. I hate saying master. She's really great at it herself. She's one of my favorite people to follow on social media because, one, she is relentlessly authentic. Number two, she's a hell of a video and marketing queen. And number three, she's funny as hell. So join me in welcoming this week's guest, super badass, Erica Wolfe, the
Oh my
Wolf
God.
of real estate.
I feel like that was the best entrance I've ever had. I am saving that and playing that everywhere. Thank you.
Yeah, I was super excited to meet you in person. No lie. We had known each other for a while via Facebook
Yeah.
and Instagram. And I was like, oh yeah, this chick's super cool. Hopefully she's cool in real life. And you're a badass. It was so much fun hanging out in Dallas a few, 6 weeks ago or whatever. And I'm excited to now know you in person in real life. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, same. It's so mutual. I had a little girl crush. I'm like, hey, I can't wait to see Katie. I'm like, I hope she doesn't just want to say hi to me and then not want to talk or hang out after, you meet
Yep.
somebody online and you're like, yeah, great. Okay, great. Bye. So thought that was
Our friend
happening to
Marley
me.
says she's okay.
She's okay.
Perfect. Thanks, Marley.
Yeah, no,
I have a
that was
call with
a
her
blast.
next, so
You
that's even funnier.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. So for the few people who may not know you out there in the world, Erica, who are you? Where are you? Tell us a little bit about how you got into real estate.
Okay, so my name is Erica Wolfe. I am born and raised in Jupiter, Florida, which is the northern tip of Palm Beach County, on the southeast coast. I love it here. We're a little old seaside town, but we have tons of celebrities that live here now. So I feel in the last 20 years since social media and things have come about, our little hidden gem is not so hidden anymore, and it's overpopulated, and I wish it was back small, but millions of dollars of homes to sell happens to be great for my profession. So it works out. 13 years in the business, really working on trying to grow my team. I have a goal of, in the next 10 years, stepping out of production. My coach likes to make fun of me and says that that's not actually going to happen, but I am determined to make that happen. So I am heavily working on growing my team and behind the scenes of that to enjoy why I've worked so hard.
So when you say your coach says that, makes fun of you to the point that you're not going to actually do that, is that because you're not going to get out of production, or that it's going to happen faster than 10 years, or why?
That he thinks I won't get out of production.
Because you love it too much?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have a dream of traveling the world and doing that. I don't know. My kids are 15 and 13. I am 34, so I did have them younger, and that was the motivating factor of being successful. So really in 10 years, they'll be completely settled.
Yeah.
I'll be 44 is kind of my thing. And go do it. We'll see.
Where's the first place you're going to go visit when you're out of production?
So I like to travel now, but I would love to do Cambodia and Bali and all of that area. But I don't want to do it for a week. So that's why I don't think I'm going to do it. I want to go stay a month in each place.
That's bucket list worthy. That's
that's so badass. And here's the thing though, it's I think that you're selling yourself short. I mean, obviously with the kids, that makes it slightly more difficult, right? But in 2019, Ryan and I took an 18-day trip to Thailand and Vietnam. and like it was feasible, right, with like the
Okay.
appropriate amount of planning and people in place and all of the things, and like our team like flipping rocked it while we were gone, right? So like I think that you could do smaller, like clearly not 2 months in Asia, but like you could do stuff before, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be like I'm out of production, so now I can travel. Like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
My
No,
2
I
cents.
hear you. So maybe that's why coach says
Or your
that.
coach is
He's
listening
like,
to this
you're
and
going to
is
go
like,
back, you're going to do it a little, and then you're going to like keep working. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my goal right now. And I feel
Yeah.
determined on it. So we're just going to pursue that. And to make that happen financially, whatever numbers, like I need a good team. So I'm working on that.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you brought that up. Like a lot of team leads, I find they have a plan in terms of, a date in the future that they want to be out of production, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever the case may be. For the people that are listening who are team leads and who do want to see themselves out of production, like I'm definitely in that category. Is it a dollar amount? Or is it truly just time to coach and build a team, and you anticipate it's going to take the 10 years?
Sorry. I have an office dog today.
Well, what do you think?
What a good boy.
Yeah,
Who's
right?
that?
That's Pete.
People listening are going to be like, what is going on?
A dog
sorry.
just came on
I
screen.
love it. Yeah.
And I
Sorry
love
about that.
That's the director of operations.
it. Of
But is
all
it
operations.
yeah,
Anyway.
is it oh, that was terrible. That was terrible.
Dog director. Yeah, anyways.
Okay, we'll just stop there. Is it truly like a time just to get like to build the capacity, or is it a dollar amount? Like in terms of
I
at
think
this
it's both.
point, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's both. Also, my husband is older. He's 12 years older. I know I've like said so many dates to you guys, but like looking at where that puts it also, like he has, for the people that know me, he's a stay-at-home dad now. The children are not biologically his, but he has been there. He cooks, he cleans, he brings them to school. He does everything around the house, pressure washes, cuts trees, fishes, like does it all, right? So I feel like he has sacrificed also so much to give and helping build this brand and business, right? So like how can I, like we love traveling together, so how can I like repay that, right? Like he's really had to take the back seat of everything. So I think it's that. So financially being able to afford it. And I have a financial planner that's kind of laid it all out too. And also when you reverse engineer the numbers, where I think to hit those numbers, what other items and people I need in place to be able to do that.
Awesome. Okay.
So it's both.
That's a really good recommendation for anyone who's listening to, eventually see themselves out of production, to really kind of look at it in both lenses in terms of time and finances. I think it's really, really smart. And that's awesome. It sounds like you're well on your way. I don't know you as well as Katie does, but I think I'm going to be in the same boat in that I don't see you actually getting into production. Like it's,
I don't know if I'll ever like stop working, right?
Yeah.
But what that means, I don't know. I guess that's showing
crazy.
up for listing appointments.
Just showing up. Erica, how big is your team right now? So who's involved in the team?
So I have she hates it if I call her my assistant, my marketing manager / like office manager. She fills 2 roles. We just hired a VA. I have 3 agents and I just let go of 2. So that didn't cut it for me. It was real uncomfortable too. I hated that. But so I think we have a game plan, but we're really, really gonna start hiring a lot more. I'm hoping to have at least 10 new agents on because we have the leads to feed them by the end of this year. So this week has been completely on shifting our message to agent attraction for next week. Like we've been planning out all the content for that this week, for next week, and for later. So I'm hoping to grow it. I have a lot of leads, and the staff I have currently, it's too much.
What's your ideal amount of leads provided to a team member like on a monthly basis? Do you have like an ideal amount? Obviously, we always know when like they aren't being followed up with it. Clearly, that was too many leads, right? And that's normally how you come to that number. But do you have an ideal amount of leads?
Like, so when we're talking about this, I like to categorize them in two different ways. We have like internet registrations, right? Like forced registrations and actual leads. And I try to clear those out every morning. I log in and divide leads and source them at like 6:30 a.m. That's like right after the gym. That's what I'm doing, is sorting those for the day for them. That whatever came in, like typically after 6 p.m., I would say, that's what I'm sorting out. Internet registrations, they kind of go to like our lead pond. Actual like heavy leads, honestly, I think like 2 a week is good. Like, I think that's good. No one's been complaining about 2 closings a week.
Yeah.
So,
out of curiosity, what CRM do you use?
KV Core.
Okay, never mind. Well, so I just know like I use Follow Up Boss and we do a lot of like the forced registration stuff as well. And in Follow Up Boss, you can set it up to auto pull and then push out to a specific pond where then it goes A, B, C, D and order A, B, C, D. And then you don't have to get up at 6 a.m. and do that.
Yeah, so they have that setting.
We don't need to,
they have that setting. I'm just a control freak. And that was a conversation we were having, is like, let's take this off of my to-do list. But I'm just also, I think because I was born and raised in this town. Okay, this is horrible. I'm just going to be honest. I fucking cherry. So did I curse? I'm sorry. I cherry pick.
You can't say shit to pick up the F-bomb. Like,
oh, sorry. So
I'm kidding. You can say both of them, but
I cherry pick the heck out of those leads too.
All right. Well,
and I'm being honest.
We'll dig into all of this. We'll dig into all of this later, offline.
Offline.
Well, no, I think it's also like good. I think other people
it's good to know.
Kind of do it. It's like, okay, are they a past client? Are they like, I'm trying to figure out why. And that was a conversation I was actually having earlier today. Why I feel the need to do that, because it's a past client or somebody I grew up with or knew or something like that. I'm like, I'll just handle them.
Don't you know like everyone in Jupiter though? I mean, I feel like that.
That's a problem. So
that can't be like the deciding factor on if you keep a lead. Shit, you'd be working. Well,
but also I'm like, oh, that person came in and I don't really like them, so let's make sure we're sending that to somebody else.
Any Jupiter, Florida residents listening to this podcast. All right, so
sorry.
I know that you do a lot as far as like Facebook and farming and retarget. Like, there's just so many different things that we could go down, but I'd like to kind of like rewind of like when you first started in real estate, you were out on your own. Like, what did you do initially to like start to generate leads in business? Like, what were your lead pillars? Like, how did you start out?
Okay, so especially being a young mom of 2 and broke. When I say broke, I was broke. Yeah, every single mom's group in Facebook had to know who I was. Like, I was the kid that was told in school to please stop talking. Okay, so
really,
oh, shocking. So even in Facebook groups, I guarantee there are several moms who blocked me. Like, this girl just won't stop. Jupiter local groups, like, so your local Facebook groups, any of them, I worked them. I showed up, and it was back when Facebook was like, what is Erica doing today? And I was like, trying to sell a house. Who wants to buy one? ? Like, the worst content like ever. But I think because I was just so hungry that I stayed super, super consistent with it, right? And I didn't care about being on video. I mean, I did, but I used a Snapchat filter, so nobody knew the difference. I was going to look great no matter what. So I think that was really it, right? Like, I would do every rental. I would do every investment. Like, most people, when they hear an investor say they want this like hard to find property, they're like, yeah, okay. But I actually would find it. Like I'd mail letters. I would do what I could. Like it was an opportunity. I never
Put in the
turned
work.
down an opportunity.
I think that's
So
huge. I think
Yeah.
that's huge. Is that just what you just said right there, Erica? I think that's the DNA for success, is to never turn down an opportunity. And I'm going to go even one step further, is to never think that you're bigger than the opportunity in front of you that day. Like,
mhm.
it's probably one of the biggest challenges in growing the team is that a lead is a lead. Like,
Mhm.
they've put their hand up, they want help, whether it's a rental, an investment, multi-million-dollar, whatever. It's taking the same level of dedication, commitment to service that lead, if it's $1,000 versus like $10 million. And so it's so easy to lose sight of that because most people, if not everyone, gets into this business for an infinite earning potential.
And I think a lot of people don't actually show you what they can do. Like meaning an
Mm.
investor is like, I would like $100,000 property. And you're like, I don't want to waste my time with this. But you don't realize he wants $100,000 properties. Or you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Or like
Yeah.
if you pitch it to him right, he'll buy them more. Like somebody doesn't say like, I have several $1,000,000 I would like to spend with you. Nobody's actually going to say that. You have
What?
like, they have to trust you. They have to like you, right? So
Yeah.
you have to write a lot of contracts that are going to get like you told no, kick rocks. You have to just like put in the work, and I was just willing to, but it really did all start with social media.
Well, and so, yeah, I mean, obviously, maybe your initial content was like, I need to sell house, who wants to buy house, right?
Yes.
But like, it's definitely evolved significantly since then.
Yes.
So like, when did you start implementing video? Because I know you guys do a lot of video, like longer form property tours. I know you're super comfortable on camera, or at
Yeah.
least it shows that you're super comfortable
Yeah,
on camera, right?
I am now.
And like short form stuff like that, like you do a lot now, but it wasn't like I'm doing video and now. So when did you start? How did that
No, when I
kind of come
started
about?
doing video, all the agents around me were like, what the heck? She is so self-centered. Like, who does she think she is that she wants to be on camera in front of the house? She's selling a house, not herself. And I'm like, I am selling myself, actually.
Mm.
Like, it's
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
Some homes don't make sense to do a video in front of, but guess what? We still do a video in front of because it's marketing. That's what it is. I think I'll give a little shout out, Ryan Stuman, on Facebook, Break Free Academy. I was like one of his first students, and it was because he was utilizing funnels and ads. And it wasn't like a real estate training. It was a marketing training, right? So I was like, he's everywhere. Why is he everywhere? I didn't
Yeah,
understand
good.
the
Nice.
ad. You know what I
Nice.
mean? I didn't understand it back then. So I joined and I learned, and like he's like, it doesn't matter, get in front of the camera, you do it. And I was already doing it, but he was like, so like, you got this, go in front of it, keep doing it, who cares what anybody says, like show up. So it was like installed. And then he's like, and there's a great thing called a Facebook pixel, and you can track and follow everybody, and here's how you do it.
Yeah.
So that's where it started. And from that first course, I have truly been a course junkie. Like, hey, if you're retargeting me and I think there's something of value I can learn, I'm buying your course, like 100% buying it. So I have all of them. But I just realized the video was working, but it did start there. Like the video works. And then you start networking in other real estate groups, and you start seeing people like maybe doing different videos or more creative. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I could truly be the biggest dork I am and like wear all my costumes that I actually have on camera, and people are going to like it. So I did it. And like my husband's so embarrassed. He's like, what are you doing? Like, don't do that. And I'm like, sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, it worked. And it
So
worked,
your
and it
spouse
kept
can
working.
probably commiserate with that.
What's that? Sorry?
I said your spouse can probably commiserate with that.
My spouse, my
Laura.
9-year-old daughter is like, Daddy, stop doing TikTok, please.
Yes.
Honestly, please stop. And I said, not a chance. It's funny though. So Sorry, go ahead, Erica.
No, all of my son's friends follow me on TikTok. It looks like I have a good following, but I swear it's the whole Jupiter High School. That's it. But I'm still showing up because
But
guess
guess
what?
what?
I'm 4 years away from them buying a house from me.
Bingo, bingo,
And
bingo,
they won't
bingo.
even have to pay because in our town, their parents buy them houses. So winning.
That's
It's a
hashtag
long
winning.
plan.
Yeah, long-term play, but I like it. The slow play.
What advice would you give, Erica? So obviously you're a natural, or at least it seems like that in terms of like, video, but like someone who's just dipping their toe in the pond of video marketing, what advice would you give to them?
I guess just get on camera. Get on camera. It adds a level of authority because everybody has like,
Ooh, I like that.
yeah, self doubt, like insecurities and everything. So anytime they see somebody else on video, they're like, that person's better than me because they just showed up on video, or that person knows what they're talking about because they just showed up on video. Even if you don't, like, even if you're scared, like terrified, you only get better by doing it. And one of the things Colin Cameron always says, Katie, is to me, is don't worry about it. Your bad videos, nobody sees because they're bad.
That's like the best worst advice, like, well,
Yes.
that does check out. That does check out. It's true.
I
But
love
you
that.
only-
Yeah, go ahead.
You only get better at it by doing it, right? You only get more comfortable by doing it.
I love that. Like just showing up on camera, there's just the sense of underlying sense, like you said it, the level of authority. I love that. Just to show up. I remember when I started my video journey, it was terrible, and we can all attest to that at the beginning.
Yeah.
But all I was doing was regurgitating real estate facts, board statistics. I didn't they weren't even my statistics. I went to the board, pulled the stats, and I shared them on this janky whiteboard that you couldn't see. It was
Yes.
dark, no mic, nothing. And I started. I remember my first Facebook video was a market update video that was 17 minutes long, and we can all laugh at. Yeah, exactly.
On Facebook.
On Facebook, it got over 4,000
Alerted
views.
everybody too that you were talking.
Right? That was years ago, and now it's just like, it's crazy to think that was the start of it, right? And so I love that. I love that.
I always laugh too, like, okay, so you did Facebook Live, right? So like a 17-minute Facebook Live, like people were just getting pinged over and over and over again that Stephen Kim was live, right? So you're getting 4,000 views, and like people are like, okay, he's just 7%. Oh, 7%. Okay, let me write that down.
Yeah, no, you couldn't even read the numbers. It was like
so you saw Ray Allen's data dump.
You're like holding a piece of paper up, like with a 7 on it. You're like, here, like I'm sure it was great.
That was terrible.
But that's,
terrible.
I mean, like I totally, I did a podcast the other day and I was talking about content, and they're like, where did you start? And I was like, doing Facebook Lives at properties. Like I had a tripod and I would set it up and like have a mic, like a 6-foot corded mic, right? And I'd be like, hey guys, what's going on? And I'd grab it and then I'd run it around the house. And like, that's what got me comfortable and being like thinking on my feet and like, oh, I just dropped an F-bomb or, whatever it is. So yeah, totally.
I literally had my cell phone, and back then it was so bad, and like a little tripod, and I'd put it in my trunk and back up my car because like the tripod wasn't even the guys, it was like a little one. So like you had to set it up and like put it, and then like there were so many apps, and I'd like pop it in my phone, get it done, and like, but also the thing back then, like I wasn't trying to be perfect, I was just trying to do it. When you get more in it, and Katie and Stephen, you might attest to this too, it becomes harder to make the videos because people want to see the higher produced stuff now because you've evolved, right? You've become better and better at video, right? So like to do a tripod video out of my trunk, people would be like, what is wrong with her? But that's where I started,
Yeah.
So that also, I've really taken a break from content, not intentional. I've just realized in 2020, like I really did stop making all the videos. When 2019, I was making high produced fun videos once a month. And I got away from it. And I think it's because I think that I have to keep making these most amazing videos ever. And it dawned on me like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, who cares? Just go back to making content. Just go back to making content. Like, just keep ripping it out. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect anymore, because the bad videos nobody's gonna watch.
Well, and I feel like that's one of those things too, that it's like you get in your own head, right? And like your comment of like, you know, I can't go do a Facebook Live video of a house or whatever. I did a riff on that a few videos ago, where I actually started out doing the intro of me talking into my cell phone camera, right? And my videographer was filming that and then like panned the house, right? Because I was like, I had no creative juices for the video. It was a vacant house, you know. I'm like, so what can we do that's like something different? I'm like, let's just pretend like I'm doing a Facebook Live, you know? So it was a different intro. We hopped right, you know. So it's just like, I think sometimes, yeah, we overthink it, and you're like, oh, well, it needs to be this or it needs to be that. No, you just need to consistently put stuff out. So I know you've had some hits, you've had some fun videos, and you know,
wonder.
no, you've had some, not one. But where do you come up with ideas for your videos? Like, I know, like, obviously some of the shorter form stuff, you're like riffing on, you know, current trends, or like, you know, you guys, your team did the Kardashian video where they like FaceTime people, you know.
Yeah,
Like, so
I love
I know you
TikTok.
do funny
So that's
TikTok
also
short
part of
form
my
stuff.
2020 issue is I thought because of the pandemic, I got so analytical with stuff because of like people staying home and stuff.
Yeah.
But TikTok consumed my life. And that's where I was getting out like the fun content, right? Because I felt like I couldn't be fun. But honestly, I have a 4-page long Google Doc, like one line each, that I open up anytime I come up with an idea. So if it's a movie, if it's a TV show, if it's a commercial, whatever it is. And it typically happens after 9 p.m. at night.
With a glass of wine or a bottle of wine,
like,
depending.
I don't know. Just like, I'll wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I just thought of this. And like, you know, and just write it down. And my idea of what the commercial was, sometimes I pause the TV and I'm saying at this minute or this hour, this minute of this show commercial, I think it relates to real estate and XYZ, or I can use it in a house tour. And so I have a list, and then I always like to review it. And then when I have a house, I'm like, this is the perfect house for that video that I've had on my list for 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it is. So typically it's inspired by other stuff.
Amazing. Erica, being in the business for as many years as you've been in, like, what do you see as, you know, quote unquote disruptors in the real estate world, in the profession? Like, you know, I know Zillow years ago, that was a big disruptor. It challenged the norms of how people went about looking for homes and all of that stuff. Like, do you see anything kind of coming down the pipe that could be a potential disruptor for the real estate industry?
I mean, can I still say Zillow, because they're buying every freaking house now? They've shifted who they are.
Okay.
Right.
So
and they're buying
evolved.
over, it's not as much in my area, but just because of like the national friendships I have with people and hearing what's going on in their areas. Zillow's buying up homes 50,000 over market value, where it doesn't even make sense. Right. And they're trying to have market share. Now they have a new comp because they'll pay over price if they own 5 other homes on that street and they've driven up the price. Like it'll be interesting as that spreads. Like that's happening a lot in California right now. As that spreads, what that actually means for our market. So that's really, I guess, my disruptor.
We've seen it some here in Texas as well. All right, let's get some other tactical stuff here real quick. So
okay.
We've talked a lot about marketing, we talked a lot about video. I kind of wanted to change directions and like teams, right? So you said, you know, you're doing some restructuring and like you want to grow pretty significantly by the end of the year. So I'm excited to hold each other accountable on that, because I know like, we've talked a lot about that. And some of the other people we mastermind with also, you know, have kind of some of the same goals. So pros and cons of the team, like what, if you could do it over again, how would you have done it? Or, and I guess maybe the precursor to that question is like, when you started your team, what was kind of like your first hire? What was the initial, like, rewind to a few years ago? Like, what did that look like as far as starting your team?
Hire was a girl I went to elementary school with. I think in my real estate license, can I come work for you? And I'm like, sure. There wasn't much thought behind it.
Yeah.
And she actually ended up being so amazing. She's still on my team, and She's a very hard worker. So I think that was just luck. That was like pure luck.
That's
And then
that's not normally how that story ends, right? Like, oh, I
mm-mm.
hired this like really good friend and we no longer speak.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a friend from like elementary school. It wasn't
Yeah.
even like somebody I was close to now. She was just like, hey, I see you everywhere and I want to learn from you. And she did. She like would follow me around and do everything. Now with team members that I add on, what I'm doing in my business isn't what is going to make them successful, right? Like it's what my marketing director is doing. It's what, the TC, like all of the stuff they have to learn. So shadowing me doesn't work. So it's really about finding mentors on my team to allow hires. And I'm sure that's similar for you guys too, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not doing the stuff that a new agent should be doing anymore. You're higher up. So really figuring out that mentor structure is where I think I went wrong with my team.
What would you say would be some of the, most important attributes you're looking at or looking for in new hires?
Self-motivated. Like if I send a link and I'm like, hey, you should watch this because it's useful and I've watched it and found value in it. Like how many people won't click that link is crazy to me, right? Like the self-education. So self-motivated, comfortable on the phone, and a good communicator, really.
Yeah.
I think everything else we can kind of teach.
Have you read the book, Patrick Lencioni's book, The Ideal Team Player?
No.
It's a fast read. You can read it
Okay.
like super quick, but I'll give you the Cole's notes.
Yeah.
And he talks about it. And this is exactly how I build it. 3 things in this order: humble, hungry, smart. Walking into this business with a level of humility, showing that you're hungry to learn, and then the smart. Like just understanding the business. It's huge, huge.
And like the smart too, like, and not to whatever, but like is like the street smart, right? Having being able to like read people smart, right? Like having that smart. But yeah, that one, and then his other book, The Dysfunctions of a Team, 5 Dysfunctions.
5 Dysfunctions, yeah.
That's another one that is like super short read, but it's like it hits deep. Like so those are 2 business books that I love.
Okay. I'm gonna read those now.
They're super short, easy to read. No pictures though, which kind of sucks. But
I know, it's terrible. Books without
Cliff
pictures.
Notes version.
Well, I mean, we just gave it to you, right? Like
I know.
Hungry, humble, and smart. Cool. Steve,
we're gonna end this off because we're over the half an hour mark. Thank you so much for your time, Erica. But we're gonna leave you with this question. Whoa, there's a question. This is the question. Last question is this. Erica, it's your last meal on earth. What are you having? Either you're making it, someone's making it for you, or you're going to buy it. Like
I already know. Eggplant rollatini.
Wow. From where?
Well, I'm gluten-free, so like preferably if my mother.
It's your last meal though.
Yeah,
I know,
right?
But okay, true. So like I guess I don't care about the side effects. So I guess my mother-in-law, she has a real good homemade sauce.
Amazing. Awesome, cool. Sounds good. I had eggplant 2 nights ago.
I love it.
Erica, thank you so much for sharing your time with us, your infinite wisdom, all of the incredible learning nuggets that you've shared with us. You are an incredible human being. For the select few people who don't know where to follow you, where are we sending them? Where are you sending them to follow
Wolf
you?
of Real Estate, but Wolf has an E at the end.
Love it. And is it Instagram, TikTok,
everywhere.
Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere.
My
she
website
is everywhere.
Just
and she's going to pixel the crap out of you.
So
just know
she
that.
wants you to go to all of the pages so that
you just got to type it in Google.
Yeah.
See where you land.
I love it.
Follow it around the internet.
I love it. Amazing. Thanks so much, Erica, for all of your time. You are a rock star.
Bye. Thank you for having me.